Thank you, Tammy, Mike, Marlene. There's a Facebook friend out there somewhere that really likes dogs. And there's the same Facebook friend that really likes cats. It has become so easy in our world to like certain things that sometimes seem to be in tension. Dogs and cats don't always get along together, do they? They can, but they don't always. It is so easy in our world to follow all sorts of movements and causes. If you're not a Facebook follower, that's okay. Let me tell you about what my experiences on Facebook are. Facebook is that social media that a lot of people are into right now. I have a Facebook friend that has 51 different causes that they have liked and that they're promoting. In fact, they've asked me to join their cause all 51 times. Now, after the first 29 times, I kind of was feeling obligated to respond to their invitation for me to like their cause, their issue, their movement. But after 31 times or so, I kind of stopped following what they were liking, what they were inviting me to become a favorite moment in my life. Those of us who are not Facebook friends and we're not on that social media, maybe we don't really know what liking a page is. Maybe, however, we spend a lot of time at the donut shop and we say to our friends, I know you would really want these. And we take a whole bag of donuts to our friends. Sometimes our friends might even be diabetic. So we're putting ourselves and each other into tensions. Our world exists on various tensions, does it not? The tensions generally keep us going, but there are some tensions that get us into some difficulty. This portion of the Gospel of Luke that Cheryl Cox just read for us, that you may have followed along in your pew Bible, it may be one of those portions of the Scriptures that, frankly, you have avoided looking at because there's something in there that's, somehow hard to palate, maybe hard to understand. Those of us who have ears, let us hear. Those of us who have eyes, let us see what God might have for us today. The reason that I find this particular portion of Luke's gospel hard to palate, hard to understand, at least in my moments where I've really, really read it, I don't know that I really like Jesus telling me to hate something. But that's just what Cheryl read. Jesus is saying, the Messiah is saying to those who are around, who are following him around from place to place, and he's been all over Galilee, he's been over into the regions of the Gentiles on the eastern side of the Sea of Galilee. Now he's probably somewhere in the north part of Galilee, not very far potentially from Jerusalem. And he says, all of you who are with me, if you want to follow me, you must hate your family, even life itself. I have a hard time with that word, hate. It wasn't all that many years ago that one of our children came to us, me, and said, I hate you. Probably wasn't all that many years ago that I said that to some people in my life too. I hate you. Is that what Jesus is saying? Is that what the Messiah is asking us to hate? I don't think so. I think the Greek word, which is actually et und, literally means to detach. So it would be a little more difficult to go around to our family and friends and the things that we have. I detach from you. But I think that's what Jesus is asking. I think that's what the Messiah's call on discipleship is inviting us into. A relationship that detaches from everything else that's going to keep us from following the Messiah. I detach myself from those things. What would it be like to live a life detached from those things that get in the way? Now, it may not be family, it may not be places, it may not be events, it may not be work, but it may be. What would it be like to live life detached from work, so much so that people didn't define you as a workaholic? Your family didn't say, I've not really good memories of my dad, my mom, because they worked all the time. What would it be like to live a life that's more detached from some of those things that we attach ourselves to? And what are some of those things that we attach ourselves to? The Gospel of Luke is not pinpointing any one of those things out precisely. The Gospel of Luke is pointing out, however, that we attach ourselves to some things, and he calls this family. We attach ourselves, and I believe Luke uses the words of the Messiah to demonstrate how easy it is to attach ourselves to something. We attach ourselves to our family, and that is the illustration. What would it be like to live our lives, our moments, not as attached to some of those items, events, situations, places, people, but rather follow the Messiah more closely? Yet Uden, detached. One of the tensions that exists in our world, certainly in your world, are all of those tensions that exist that call for your time, your commitment, your resources, your energy. The ease of getting caught up in those moments is the tension that the Messiah is raising up for our consideration today. I think, however, the Messiah is inviting us to consider more fully, lastly, our commitment to various movements, causes, situations. To live as a follower of the Messiah. What would that look like? What would that feel like? Where would we be? What would it be to be closer to the Messiah? That's what Joe was saying with the children. I think that's what I heard Cheryl read as she was preparing to read from the Gospel of Luke. The Messiah is inviting us into a moment to say, I will follow you more closely. I will love you more dearly. I will. The Gospel of Luke is pressing that point with us as we test the limits of the tensions of commitments that we live with. You and I have lived life here in the 21st century, and we've experienced various tensions. In 1902, a woman